But what if that person's eating pasta, bread, rice, potatoes all day? And then somebody tells them about turmeric. So they take this little tablet, right, of an anti-inflammatory, and they got like a big bowl of pasta, and I'll just take the turmeric. No, it doesn't work that way. The father of modern medicine, his name was Hippocrates. You know what he said? Let your food be your medicine. But he also said this. He said, let your food be your medicine. He said, but to eat when you're sick is to feed your sickness. What does that mean? That means that there are times where your body needs to not eat as much food so that it can use the energy to heal your body. And there are times where different forms of fasting are extremely useful. And one of the forms of fasting is called intermittent fasting. This is where you stop eating at a set time and you go a long period of time before your next meal. How long? Minimum 15 hours. When I work on you during the week, there are certain things I do to prepare my body to be used properly. And I don't want to get too technical, but I do want to tell you this very important truth, that in your body, every cell, which makes up the tissues and the organs like liver, lungs, stomach, they have cells in them. Every cell is supposed to be vibrating at a certain frequency in order for it to be functioning properly. What tells the cell to vibrate is the power. So when the power from your brain can flow to the cell, everything vibrates better. There's a healthy vibration, and there's what? A sick vibration. A sick vibration is too slow. Or too fast. But usually it's too slow. So when you turn on the power, what happens? It starts vibrating better. Does that make sense? What happens when the cell vibrates better? The DNA works better. The communication between the cells is better. Your body starts making the right chemicals. When it's the wrong vibration, you don't do any of that. So here's the thing. If I'm having a lot of green juices, what's happening to my vibration? Better. What if I'm eating pasta, bread, rice, potatoes? Stress on the cell. It starts getting distorted. And that's how sickness comes about as well, okay? So when I'm working on patients on a Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, I go from dinner to dinner. What does that mean? I don't eat dinner until dinner. Like I didn't eat today yet. Like I've been fasting all day. Why? Because I know I have a talk and I want my energy to be what? Up. So if I had a big bowl of pasta and I came in here, I'd be like, sleeping over here. I wouldn't have no energy for you. So I got to keep my energy up. But it's the same energy that heals my body. Why? Because if I eat food and I got to use the energy to digest the food, the same energy I would have used to heal my liver, my lung, my stomach is now being used to break down food. So it's called, here's the key word, energy divergence. What does that mean? You took the energy that your body would have used to heal and you said, I need some of it to break down my food. So when somebody has a serious disorder, cancer, autoimmune disease, I say you really want your body to heal, you got to be mindful, and we put them on specific eating regimens that are made up of fasting and juicing. And the one thing you don't want to do for any of them is give them carbohydrates, because when the body has carbohydrates, it feeds the cancer cells. That's the last thing you want to give someone with cancer. But what does the doctor say? They might say, well, you're losing too much weight. You got to feed a lot. You got to eat a lot. And what they don't know is they're feeding their sickness. They're feeding their sickness. They're feeding the disease. They're feeding the disease. So what I want you to know is intermittent fasting is where you do. Now, some of you say, I can't go from night to night, right? You can go from night, from maybe 7, 8 p.m. to maybe 12 in the afternoon the next day, to maybe 1 p.m. the next day. Why would you do that? Well, here's a couple of reasons. Number one, the first thing that happens is your body needs fuel when you're not eating, right? So if it's not going to get fuel from food, where is it going to get it from? It's going to get it from what's inside your body. Well, let me give you some things that are inside. Number one, fat cells. Number two, abnormal cells, cancer cells, autoimmune cells, debris, bad skin cells. So what happens is your body's so smart, the innate wisdom that God put in there says, hey, if we need energy, let's go to everything bad first and let's use that as fuel. So guess what it starts doing? Detoxing and cleaning house. It starts using things like this. Watch this. It literally uses abnormal cells, abnormal skin cells, so your skin looks younger. That's how you get youthfulness. It uses things like abnormal stem cells. abnormal cancer cells that are in your body. And get this, it even uses bad bacteria and viruses as fuel. It's called xenophagy. Isn't that cool? So if there's, let's say, there's a pandemic. Like we were here the all time during the pandemic, we were taking care of patients, right? So I wanted my body to be like very strong immune system wise because I know it was going to be exposed and I want to keep my body strong, right? So what did I do? Fast. Whenever I was working on patients, fasting. Why? Because I knew that if my body was in that state where it would use, if it needed fuel, it would use abnormal cells and it would use any sort of virus, bacteria as a fuel source.